I'm back. I was a little under the weather. I missed y'all. Today we're talking about No Time to Die. First, we're going to go through non-spoilers, and then we'll hit the spoiler section later. I warn you so that you are not, I don't ruin it for you. To start out, this movie was absolutely amazing. Amazing. You definitely need to go check this out. This movie was like the Indiana Jones of spy movies. They all are, pretty much. But this was, I think, a very good ending to this story. There were so many parts to this story. It's very, very hard to try to hit all the beats that they did, but there were so many layers to this movie. So many. Dealing with Bond and some of the things, some of the aspects of his life, some of the things he had in his closet, new and old enemies coming to the forefront, him having to deal with a lot of feelings, things like that. So I was blown away by this movie, from the score to the acting to the nostalgia that they put in these. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the James Bond series, but a lot of nostalgia in here from a lot of the older movies. But this is definitely a watch. I'm probably going to go watch it again tonight. That's how good this was. It is long. It's like, I think it's like 2 hours and 30 minutes, maybe 2:40. It's close to 3 hours. So pack a lunch. And yeah, it was worth every minute. You didn't feel like that you were sitting in a movie and just like, oh, when's it going to end? No, this movie was action-packed and it was good. And it had feels. It had like excitement. You're on the edge of your seat waiting for the next thing to happen, and you're like, damn, this movie's good. So if you haven't seen it and you want to check it out, this is an A+ for me, and I definitely recommend going to watch this movie. Definitely recommend it. So that's about it as far as the non-spoiler section. Now we're gonna get into spoilers in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One day I'm gonna use the right hand. I promise. So now we're gonna get into spoilers. Give it just another second, just in case anybody is having trouble finding the get out button. All right, here we go. So James Bond wants to get out. He doesn't want to get out, but he has a woman that he wants to spend the rest of his life with, pretty much. And he's having trouble because, basically, from his profession, trying to figure out how he is going to let go of his past and move on with this woman that he cares about so much. But he's still looking for Spectre, or people who were a part of that group, to, I guess, he's always looking over his shoulder. That's basically what it amounts to. Bond is always looking over his shoulder. So he kind of goes off grid for a little bit, and then they find a new 007 to kind of take his place, because they thought that maybe he was dead. So he shows back up, and then there's kind of a war between the new Bond or James Bond and the new 007. And coincidentally enough, let me just say this. Let me get this shit out the way right now. I've been hearing some of the talk about how some people say that you can't have a black James Bond or black 007 or any of that nonsense. Let me tell you something. James Bond is a fictitious character. He ain't real. Okay? So when you're dealing with a fake character, all right, he can be whatever the hell you want him to be. Just because you remember him being either a man or a woman does not mean he needs to be so. A woman can do just as good a job. So can a man. So can someone of Asian descent, someone of who is black. Does not matter. As long as the story's good, it doesn't matter. In my mind, there's only 2 times where you have to get it right. And that is if you're doing a documentary, or if you're doing a movie like Shang-Chi in the heart of I don't know, if you're going to do a movie in Japan, you're not going to do a movie in Japan with a white dude or a black dude without explaining how they got there or whatever, right? I feel like this doesn't need to be said. Story is what matters. It's not the characters in the story. It's the story that matters. If the story's good, then the characters are made to be believable in whatever role they have them in. It's the story that counts, not the goddamn characters. I'm not going to say that again. So, moving on. We have Daniel Craig, who plays James Bond, of course. You have Naomi Harris, who is Miss Moneypenny. I thought she was cool. Ralph Fiennes is M. And Ben Whishaw is Q. And Lee Seydoux as Madeline Swan. So Madeline Swan was cool. I don't even know how to describe this movie. It was that good. It was watching Bond come back and after losing the love of his life and realize that people are still hunting him, and him having to deal with the people who are hunting him coming back in and basically arguing, having like a little kid spat with the new 007 it was kind of fun to watch them go back and forth. She seemed more concerned about being 007 than he did. He really didn't care. He was like, it's just a number. He really didn't give a shit. She cared more than him. Again, for those people who are, if you just happen to still be here, you want to check it out or whatever, I'm going to let some information fly. So, okay, you've been warned. I'll give you 3 chances. Still used the wrong hand, but that's all right. So, James Bond has a child. And this movie is basically about nanobots. A new weapon has been developed where the nanobots have effectively can basically be released. They can be on your hand, and you can shake hands all night with anybody you want. But the nanobots they're looking for specific DNA, and once they find that DNA, that person will die. They shake hands or whatever. Those nanobots are on you forever, though. They can never come off. So, and that's basically what it is. Bond finds out he has a child by the woman of his dreams, who he left because he didn't trust her. He thought she had set him up. Come to find out later on in the movie, she did not set him up. It was just made to look that way, to kind of like split them apart. But later on, they do come back together. He does find out that he has this beautiful little girl, and he's willing to do anything, as are all fathers, or at least most, to do anything to protect his family, his child, his girlfriend. So that aspect was kind of deep for me, because I can relate. I can understand where he was coming from as someone who just found out that he was a father, and it seemed like the kind of thing that he wanted his entire life. Like, he wanted to be it seemed like he wanted this woman and to be with this child more than he was interested in being a 00 anymore. And I thought that was pretty cool. So basically, he fights Spectre. Spectre's on the island. He is manifesting a ton of this stuff, these nanobots, and his plan is to basically eradicate a ton of people, just get rid of them. And Bond's got to go in, and Bond's got to do his thing. So he goes in, and I think it's a missile silo on this island that they had, and he had to open the doors so that when ordnance was dropped, it would be able to reach the stuff and thus put an end to those plans. So that's what he did, but you know, he got into a tussle with the bad guy at the end, and bad guy had nanobots on him, which were key to his girlfriend and daughter's DNA, which means now that he has those nanobots on him, he could never touch his daughter or his love, the love of his life again. Now I don't, bro, that broke me down, man. That broke me down. That got me then. It's starting to get me now. That is a hell of a thing to try to go through. You can't touch your child ever. That's, oof, man. I ain't gonna lie. I teared up. So here he is. He's been shot by let's see, Safin. Hope I'm saying his name right. He's the big baddie in this movie. He's been shot. It looked pretty bad too, but like shot like 3 or 4 times. And he basically told him that he can never, by doing this, he can never touch his wife or child again. And I could totally understand. Like, he told the Navy to just go ahead and drop ordnance on the island. You know, he's got bullets in him. He can't touch his wife and kid, or the love of his life and his kids. So, and I'm of the same mind. Like, what use is there going on? If I can't be close to the people I love, what use is there for me to be alive? So they dropped ordnance on him, and James is gone. He's gone. And that got me, man. That got me. He went out like a champ. Big ups to James Bond, man. That was a hell of a story. A hell of a story. So, that's what's up. But now we go into the problems. Problem 1. The bad guys in this movie shoot worse than goddamn stormtroopers. James Bond was on a bridge, right? It was a small bridge, only room for 1 car, 1. There was a bad guy on both ends of this bridge with automatic weapons, and they missed. That was the first time. Second time, he was in the woods. They had this man dead to rights in the middle of the woods. My man stuck his head out the window, looked right at James, looked back in the car, pulled out a gun, automatic weapon. Missed. James just walked away. He just walked away. This man is firing at you with an automatic weapon. You just walked out. That's the second time. Third time, James was in a stairwell, and he pulled the body over himself, right? Not even all the way. He was only 2 steps down. 2! And my man was like 3 feet away with an automatic weapon. I know he could see half his body. I know he could. Unloaded that whole clip. Missed all of James. All of them. I was like, okay, here we go with this. James did not have to ask for the release of those missiles. He made them release the missiles. He hadn't killed everybody yet, but he asked for them to release the missiles. Now, there were Russians in the area who wanted to know why British intelligence was in the area. That's all they asked. 2 planes buzzed their C1 or their C5 Galaxy and asked why they were in the area. British intelligence refused to answer. They were like, "Don't tell them anything yet." James Bond asked to release the missiles so he can destroy all the nanobots, right? But you did this. You created this clock. No one else created this clock. You didn't have to go this soon. You just say, wait a minute, hang on. I'm going to open the doors, and then I'm going to leave, and you guys can go ahead and fire. Now, they didn't tell the Russians because they didn't want the Russians to know what was going on because they were afraid of retaliation, right? So you didn't want to explain to them what you were doing. But you would rather fire a barrage of missiles with no explanation. And you figure that that's better? You think that that's a better way to go? All right, apparently it worked because it all worked out. James killed himself. He didn't have to, but he did. So there's that. Guys, even with all that right there, I mean, those are my only two gripes. Only two things I see wrong with this movie. Other than that, this movie was absolutely beautiful. It was a great love story. It was a great spy movie. The gadgets in it were absolutely stunning. The cinematography was beautiful. The story was incredible, and I couldn't ask for a better ending to the James Bond movie. So, once again, thank you, Daniel Craig, for being James Bond. You were absolutely incredible, and you'd be missed, man. So, I don't know where James Bond goes from here. I don't know if Bond himself is dead. I don't know what they're gonna do. Oh, by the way, they had a lot of callbacks when they were showing M. M was on the wall a few times. They showed a couple of the older M's, and that was pretty cool. A lot of callbacks. So yeah, I'm not gonna get sappy on here. It was a good movie. Go watch it. Do your thing. Other than that, I appreciate y'all hanging out. Love y'all. It's good to be back. And kick out some more content, man. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. And I'll get some more content up for you. I'll get some more content out to you, man. All right. Y'all take it easy. Have a good day.